and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all having the best day ever. Thank you so much for clicking on my video today. I really appreciate your time and I appreciate you being here. And let's go in for our mucker hug. I'm giving you a warning. We'll do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go in for it. I've missed doing these. Hi, welcome to today's video. I hope you're all doing well. And thank you so much for hearing what I have to say. And I can't wait to know what you have to say below because this one is heavy. So, we did a video a couple days ago where we talked about Wright coming out with a video against Sienna Mae. Now these are two very big TikTokers and there was a lot of speculating around what had happened between them two. Everyone kind of dropped Sienna Mae. Again, they were in these really big TikTok groups and they were also in the Hype House and, oh, by the way, I remember that there was a tissue here, so let's get rid of that. So anyway, they were in the Hype House and they're also the really big YouTubers, but then all the other really big YouTubers started to drop Sienna, started to unfollow her, and no one really said what had happened, so people immediately started speculating things, and then a video got out after Wright's friends did a couple tweets, basically accusing Sienna Mae of, at a bare minimum, being very inappropriate with the group, and also essaying Wright. Now, they were technically not in a relationship, and by the way, that doesn't matter. You can be in a relationship and you can still have essay happen within it. You can still have R-word. It's about consent. You can still be in a relationship. However, they were never fully in a relationship. They were basically just like doing couple TikToks for TikTok. And Jack came forward in his video. Again, if you want to see that, you can go watch his video. He basically came forward and said that while they were supposedly dating, which is why Sienna brushed off all these accusations, because we were dating, Sienna was allegedly getting with other guys in LA, and Jack said that he was never allowed to get with anyone else because Sienna would basically come over to his house and have a full breakdown. And he also mentioned multiple different times where Sienna would drive over in the middle of the night and he would wake up and Sienna's hands are down in his trousers. Other times where Sienna was being so forceful with him that he had to lock himself in the bathroom and he had to sleep on the bathroom floor. All of this really disgusting, disturbing stuff. And Sienna Mae, before Jack had even made his video, for the past year has kind of been doing damage control with apologies, with TikTok apologies. So basically what I mean by that is she came out with a very long YouTube video and then she also came out with like 17, like I'm not even exaggerating, like 17, 18 TikToks, which was basically her just saying that everyone's lying about her, everyone's just trying to cancel her, she will not be the victim of cancel culture, these lies are disgusting, people are just trying to ruin her. So basically it was just degrading all of the SA claims and the inappropriate claims to cancel culture, which again, people within this space love to do. So with that being said, people formed their own opinions and Wright came out with his video and it's a great video, it's incredibly heartbreaking, but again, I can speak for all of us that male victims do not get the support that they need, and I'm so proud of him for making that video. I don't really watch these TikTokers, but I've kind of been exposed to them through seeing the Hype House show, which Sienna Mae was a part of before Netflix abruptly cut her out from every single scene because they do not stand with her, they do not support her. And now I'm aware of them, and it's just incredibly disturbing that this happened. But Sienna has came out with a huge statement, and we're gonna go through it today. I saw it, I have not read it yet, so I'm gonna be reading it for the first time with you. So if you've heard it before, then we're gonna be going through it together. But if this is your first time, this is also my first time, and let's hear what she has to say. But there is also video proof of her groping Jack whenever he is basically just passed out, and people have to, you know, stop her from doing that. So there's already video proof of a lot of it, but again, I don't really think you need video proof to believe a victim. And whenever he is saying about all of this, he's also showing that there are many other people who have messaged him that Sienna has done similar things to them, and it's just, this seems like an incredibly disturbed, dangerous person. Alright, so let's get into it. We have this big blog post. It says it's a 15-minute read, so we'll see about that. So basically it says, Sienna Mae Gomez, reflections from an 18-year-old me. Now, I definitely think that she's focusing on the 18-year-old part, because people have already started looking at Jack's claims in a different way because they're saying that Sienna's 18. And I completely disagree with that, and I think that her and her PR team are very much so catering towards that by focusing on the fact that she's 18. It doesn't matter if she's 18, it doesn't matter if she's 17, she can still essay someone, she can still make someone uncomfortable, she can still force herself on someone, she can... We don't need to go through this, I think we're all aware. So anyway, let's get through this. I haven't even taken a drink yet, I keep holding it to take one, sorry, hold on. that first sip like burns your throat. And I just brushed my teeth, you can imagine. So here we have Sienna Mae on the beach. All right, let's just go through it. I haven't even been 18 a whole week, yet the decisions I've had to make as a new adult are challenging me in ways that I wish I could go back to just being a kid. So she's very much so focusing on the fact that she is young, which I don't care what your age is, whenever you're being accused of these kind of things, you're being accused of those kind of things. So, if you're here, you probably know about my situation. I'm going to assume that you already know for the last about 8 months I've been fighting a very public battle that involves topics I don't know much about until recently. Trigger warning, SA, boundaries, consent. For 8 long, grueling months, I've been fighting to save friendships, to save business relationships. Like, why, whenever you're being accused of these things, why is your first thought to save business relationships? Bonnie. Snorty Snorter. Miss Piggy. Miss Piggy. It's Bonnie snorting. Alright, to save my own mental health. Up until this week, I was so proud of the progress that I had made. Like being on my phone less and learning how to surf and cook with friends. And value things that really matter. So it's interesting, does these accusations not matter to you? 4 days after turning 18, right? This is classic PR move. We're seeing her focus very heavily on the age. 4 days after turning 18, my former friend, Jack Wright, the one I've been tangled with, a toxic web of accusations and internet tea, girl, this is not tea, let me tell you that, posted a 17-minute long video about me. Yesterday, 5 days past turning 18, I had to say okay to a media statement written by my publicist in response to that video. Shortly after that, my legal team sent his legal team a letter threatening a lawsuit for defamation my character because this is the best thing that you can do to clear your name. I'm sure it's all hitting the media now. So she is openly stating that she is trying to sue Jack Wright for, at a bare minimum, speaking his truth, speaking his story. Now we know it's far more than that, but Jesus, I've never been so scared in my life. I thought turning 18... Why are we focusing so much on this? I thought turning 18 would be amazing, and so far it honestly just sucks. I have 3 choices that I can see. 1, go read the millionth I hope you yourself message in my DMs. 2, let my well-meaning parents and team dictate next steps and tie us up for what could be in a couple year long legal battle with people who I've once considered my closest friends. 3, write down everything from my heart and use my new profound adult status, see how we're focusing on this so much, to take accountability and share the whole truth with anyone who will listen. Alright, to be honest, it's hard not to choose number 1 and to actually follow through. I told my parents last night that I just want to DIE. I'm so tired of fighting. I'm so tired of seeing the hate and people taking sides. My heart hurts for my friends, my family, and people I associate with who are getting bullied on their own social media accounts just because they know me. So I'm going to choose number 3 for the sake of the people I love. I'm just going to get real and bare my soul and have faith and trust that I will land where I'm meant to be. The beginning of Jack and Sienna. Alright, perfect to include a picture of you both. I'm sure that's not completely tone deaf. When I was 16 years old, one of my TikTok videos went viral on social media, then another, then another. I asked my hometown friend, James Wright, multiple Wrights. James Wright to do my first big interview with me in Los Angeles. He was out of town, so he asked his twin brother Jack to go with me. I was friends with Jack but knew James better. Both of them had blown up on TikTok a few months earlier than me. From that day on, my life will never be the same. Jack introduced me to people in LA, to new friends that I had been watching online for months, to a new fast-paced lifestyle that was so different than the one we lived in our small town. We instantly connected. He was my person. We got each other safely home after parties, which is exactly not what we're hearing from Jack. We had each other's backs. Again, exactly not what we're hearing from Jack. People noticed a spark between us and our videos went viral together. Suddenly, we were America's favorite teenage ship. Who speaks like this? And it all happened so fast that neither of us really knew what it meant. We were thrown into a crazy, exciting relationship because the public demanded it. Well, Jack is saying that no, they were not in a relationship and Sienna was sleeping with other people in LA. Not that it's any of our business, but it adds context to the fact that no, they were not in a relationship, but Sienna was not allowing, allegedly, Jack to get in a relationship. If we went just a few days without posting, the press would run stories like, did Jack and Sienna break up? And people commenting things like, if they don't get married, I don't believe in love. Major companies were reaching out with brand deals for us, and Jack even switched agents to make it easier for work opportunity. Somewhere along the way, and in a very confusing state of not knowing what was fake and what was real, I started to fall in love with him. Hype House, again, including more pictures with him. I'm sure that really adds to your case here, Sienna. In December 2020, after 4 incredible months of TikTok fame, cringe. More fun than I've ever had, and what seemed like the perfect life, I got a call from the producers of the Hype House show asking me to be one of the featured influencers headlining the series. They also told me they didn't plan to have Jack in a lead role. To me, that felt wrong. He was the one who introduced me to all those people, and I wasn't even an official member of the Hype House. Thomas asked me to join, but my parents said no. So I decided to be on the show only if Jack was in a lead role too. They agreed. From February through April 2021, we filmed the show. They filmed us both in our hometown. They filmed scenes with our family and friends at my house and his. They even filmed us in Hawaii. So this is her adding context that they've not only removed her from scenes from LA, but now that they also came out to Hawaii and filmed them there, but obviously removed all of this from the show. While it was a lot of fun, what wasn't fun is the producers and other Hype House members keep pressing us to define what we were. 2 17-year-olds being pressured again and again to answer questions like, are you more than friends? And what do you love most about him? It was so confusing and emotional as we both started to realize that uncovering the truth behind our relationship, which we agreed to not put a label on, was a major storyline in the show. The more they pressured me on camera, the more emotional I got, because I wasn't sure if we were friends or more. We would agree to be friends, and then he would gift me expensive or even matching jewelry or plan elaborate outings. We would talk in a quiet place and say we were just friends, and then the next day be making out with each other for the cameras. I don't know what was being set up by producers and if it was real or fake. I told him I loved him and said he loved me too. I would ask if he wanted to be more than friends, and he would say not yet. Rejection isn't uncomfortable or comfortable, but it's honest. The show had to go on, and I just went on with it. Hawaii and the video. In May, I don't understand her purpose in including so many pictures where they look lovey-dovey in this situation, because she's being accused of SA here. In May, we took another trip to Hawaii. Though Hype House filming had wrapped, at this point the internet was going crazy for our content, especially since we hadn't posted a lot during filming because it had to be exclusive to the show. We both felt pressure. I wasn't originally supposed to be on this trip, but to be clear, he said I could come a few days before going. So basically, Jack said that him and his family went to Hawaii, and then Sienna and her family found out that Jack and his family were going to Hawaii, and then basically were in Hawaii at the same time as him because they were having a rough part of their relationship, and they went out at the same time as Jack and his family just so that they can be with them, which is incredibly weird. Alright, looking back now, I see that it was just to make content. Something on this trip was different. Everywhere we went, he introduced me as his girl, but then take pictures and blatantly flirt with other people. I was jealous, but more than that, I was confused. Why was I here? Why was he introducing me as his counterpart, telling me to wait patiently to be together if he didn't really want any of it? And again, she's being accused of SA. Jack can say that maybe eventually he wants a relationship, but in that moment, that does not mean that he's giving you accessibility or any approval to do anything with his body. And then, without producers and cameras around for the first time in months, it really hit me. He liked me when he needed me for a video or for work, but he didn't like me otherwise. I asked him to make a video with me explaining to our fans that we were truly just friends. I told him that if we didn't have real feelings with each other, I wanted to set the record straight publicly about our relationship, as explained and shown in my response video from last year. He told me we had brand partnerships riding on our fake one, and that it wasn't fair on him. I couldn't believe that someone who I created with, laughed with, and cried with would so easily disregard my feelings for the sake of money. He apologized, and I appreciate that, but I needed time away from him and our public persona to think and heal. So I went home and took time away from him and his family. I received multiple texts from James, Jack's twin, asking why I wasn't responding to them. 2 weeks later, they started posting Instagram stories targeted me. 1 day later, their friend Mason put up a tweet implying that I physically and mentally A-worded Jack. A few days after their friend, Lachlan, released a video taken from a November 2020 party showing Jack and me kissing. He narrated the whole thing to make it look like it was something it wasn't. To be clear, James took the video as a joke on Snapchat 7 months earlier and decided to resurface it. I would like to think that neither Mason nor James realized the impact that their tweets and the taken out of context video would have. Though they took it all down, it didn't really matter, the damage had been done. So this is the video in which Jack is lying basically passed out on the sofa and Sienna gets on top of him and is groping him. But she's saying it's been taken out of context. I don't know how. I really don't know how. My character became a topic of public opinion. I lost friends, brand deals, my reputation was damaged. I went from being one of the most loved girls on the internet to one of the most hated. I went quiet. I lost my will to live and had to be saved. I spent months healing and getting better. My team asked Hype House producers to remove me from the show so I didn't have to relive the online bullying in the light of the crazy Team Jack and Team Sienna segment online, as they knew people would pick apart every interaction between us. So, do we believe it? Sienna is now saying that they asked Netflix to remove them from the show, but I highly doubt that Netflix would do that because you would have already signed the contract and the consent forms, so basically it's up to Netflix to remove you. Seems fishy. Alright. Netflix also did not want to be liable for my mental health. That's why I wasn't in the show. So, was it their decision? That's why producers had to figure out what to fill for months. I'm sure the Hype House members are mad at me. I probably would be mad at me too. I'm sorry, especially to the cast and crew who worked hard on the show. Jack, setting this record straight. Jesus, I had to read that there. I've been in 3 relationships in my life. My first boyfriend was so sweet to me, and although I was just turning 14 when I started dating him, he was supportive, caring, and communicated his feelings, like how he preferred my time over public affection. In his YouTube video, Jack brought this relationship up, even though it happened 4 years ago. Did I kiss another guy? Yes, I did, a day after we broke up. I'm still friends with both he and my ex, and they are friends with each other. It happened when we were 14, 15 years old, and we got over it because that's what people do. My next boyfriend is one of the funniest and big-hearted people I ever know. I hung out with him and his family just a few weeks ago, and the reason we broke up after almost a year together was because he didn't like me being on social media. We decided to just be friends exactly 1 week after my first video went viral. This whole thing with Jack is breaking his heart because he knows the real me, not some version of me. It's ironic now that his fear of social media and online fame and what that might do to me is the reason we broke up. And then came Jack. I was really grateful to know someone already in social media world, and we had so much fun together. But as someone I loved and still love, I'm devastated that he made me sound crazy and twisted with so many things out of context in his most recent video, to the point of literally painting me into the loud, crazy, over-sexualized stereotype that people try to use on young, especially Latina women. Girl, I don't think this is about race. I think this is about you not being a good person. It sucks and I'm still unpacking that, but all I can use are my own words. I never broke into Jack's house. Did I know the code to his garage door? Yes, because he gave it to me. One of the first scenes we filmed for the Hype House was me walking into his house and jokingly saying, "I'm home," because that's what everyone does at Wright's house. It's the hangout house. When Jack and James lived there, there was always friends around until 2 a.m. Jack said he used to see me in my car at 2 a.m. in front of his house, but failed to mention that most of the times there would be other friends there too. I never stalked him. I never sat outside his house in the middle of the night. Over the past week, some of my mutual hometown friends have reached out to me. Like me, they aren't sure how to process some of what Jack is saying and are as confused as what I am. All Jack and I ever did was kiss. I have never seen, felt, or touched him naked. We spent several nights at the Hype House together, but I never grabbed him, asleep or awake. Yet I'm still being called an R-word across the internet by those who don't understand the meaning of the word. There is a counterpoint for every argument that Jack makes in his video, but I'm not going to do that. Did I do some things wrong and sloppy as a 17-year-old girl who fell in love with a guy? Yes, for sure. I admit to stepping out of a car, stopping at a stop sign last New Year's Eve after we publicly fought. There was alcohol involved, and I'm definitely not proud of that. Wait, so were you driving the car? I hope not. I hope not. After we kissed at midnight, he went and flirted with other people. At least that's all I saw. I got jealous, it was stupid, and I'm ashamed. But that being said, he did some stupid stuff too. Like chasing after a car full of guys, trying to start a fight with them because they catcalled me on the street. Or that just makes him sound like a good person. Or locking our mutual friend out of his rental house in Hawaii because he was flirting with me. I don't know. Chalk it up to being young and the fact that our brains aren't fully developed yet. Teenagers do stupid things. My regrets. I wish I knew then what I know now. I wish we had laid out boundaries that made sense to us both, that protected both of us from feeling vulnerable or misled. I don't know a lot of people who at 17 don't know how to be with their parents, but I would have liked to have tried. I wish I knew that every time he did something nice to me, it wasn't meaning he wanted to be my boyfriend. It meant he just wanted to be my internet boyfriend. I wish we knew together how toxic the relationship had become before it spun the way that it did. Looking back, there are definitely some things I would have done differently. Trigger warning essay, my first set of YouTube videos. Shortly after the first allegations came out last June, I made 2 videos. Both are still on YouTube, which I wish I could take back. I'm not proud of how I responded and want to apologize to SA survivors who I offended with my ignorance in responding to these false allegations. They were made hastily and without seeing what my brother and me had said. I had since learned a lot about SA and the psychological trauma responses victims of SA may develop as a result of A word. I learned what Stockholm Syndrome and trauma bounds are, and I'm grateful to have the opportunity to learn how to be a better ally. Understanding love languages. When Jack and I fought, I tried to fix it with love and affection. So basically, Jack said in his video that when they would fight, Sienna would come on to him and try kissing him and make him uncomfortable. So is that her acknowledging it here? When Jack and I fought, I fixed it with love and affection. Growing up, I was taught to be communicative and treat others with respect. I would wrap my arms around Jack to hug him when I was feeling insecure or when he was. I also tried to verbally express my feelings to him because that's what I do in relationships. We would joke about it all the time and even make TikToks about it because to both of us, at least at the time, it was funny. Looking back, I see that I should have met him at his love language versus mine. And I'm sorry for that because I think we blurred boundaries. That should have been stronger. My only intention was to love him and tell him that he mattered. It was a mistake. The importance of consent. Consent isn't really something that is formally taught in my school. Great start. My parents have been married for 23 years and I grew up watching them freely express affection to each other. I understand now not everyone has this comfortability with affection. I understand now that when you're in a relationship there needs to be a very open and honest conversation about consent even before sexual acts. Even if it's holding hands, hugging and being affectionate in a friendly manner. The last thing I would ever want to do is breach someone's boundaries. Jack, if you're reading this, I apologize if there were times that I made you uncomfortable. I'm sorry if anything I ever did triggered other things that you've experienced or feelings or relationships or physical opinions. I didn't know what would carry into our real life. Closeness and familiarity. That being said, there is a distinct line between that and SA. I'm so sad that this is where we ended up, and even more sad that I'm now being used in this hurtful way. I'm growing. When I was growing up, I wished every day to become famous. Probably like a lot of kids. It sounds so dumb, but I think I kind of willed myself to where I am now. At first it was amazing, but now, not so much. I'm having obsessive thoughts about what I would like to be and go back to my old high school, choreographing routines for my dance team and waiting for my college acceptance letters. About not having to wear sunglasses and a hat in the Starbucks drive-thru line at night because I don't want the person giving my drink to spit on it because they think that I'm an A-word. About not worrying that I'm saying the wrong thing or making a wrong move. If I was a normal girl at normal school, I would be so worried about high school drama, about wrapping my head around that versus decisions about serious allegations. Honestly, I just wish I had time to be normal. I want this madness to end. I want people to think before they comment unnecessarily hateful things on my social media, on my friends or on Jack's. I'm tired of seeing people that I don't know from my hometown or others jump on the hate train and make up lies. I'm confused that people say arrest her when there is no involvement by police, no investigations, and no legal actions other than mine since this all began. I'm tired of living in a space of sadness because I still don't know how exactly one of my best friends turned into someone I'll forever be negatively linked with. For many, this is TikTok drama and tea, but for me, this is my life. To my community of supporters, I so appreciate your kind words in the midst of what has been a very dark time. Thank you for showing me love despite my flaws and mistakes. I recently saw this quote, "To make mistakes or be human is wrong." No, I read that wrong. To make mistakes or be wrong is human. To admit those mistakes show you have an ability to learn and grow. As I enter the second week of being 18, again, here we go back to it, I'll let that be my guide. After 8 months of feeling muzzled and controlled by lawyers, agents, publicists, and parents, it feels so good to speak my truth and share more than what I probably should. I'm sure I'll experience more backlash, but as a just turned 18-year-old, it's all to bear now. Jesus, do you want to mention that you're 18 any fucking more? Jesus fucking Christ. Alright, I want to know your opinion on it, Mucker. We'll talk about it below. We've now heard both sides. I want to know your opinion. We'll talk about it below. Thank you so much for being here, and I appreciate your time. Bye.